that comment. Okay, let's talk. Oh, look, it's me drinking some coffee. Okay, let's talk some breaking news here. If I can pull it apart. I got a lot of memes to show you guys today as well, but Elon out of nowhere. So yesterday, essentially, if you don't know what happened, and I'll keep this quite brief. Okay, I really will. Reuters said the $25,000 car is scrapped. Elon laughed at them and said this is a complete lie. Well, he said they're lying. And then to piss them off entirely, he tweeted after hours, Elon did, after the stock tanked 5%, went back up 5%. After hours, Elon tweeted, Tesla Robotaxi unveil on August the 8th. Now, immediately to me, this is quite obvious. This is no coincidence. The reason why Reuters had a tip on the inside, in my opinion, that the $25,000 low-cost vehicle is scrapped is because they obviously internally have made a clear decision that they're going to go ahead with the Robotaxi unveil. And so that signals to pretty much everyone internally that is what their main focus is. Now, I look at this actually in a very smart way, because when you talk about just the Osborne effect. If Elon comes out and says, look, we are going to have a $25,000 car unveiling on August the 8th. It's going to be available for pre-order, and we're looking for deliveries by next year, right? And so if he says that, immediately Model 3, maybe Y, sales tank. Because if you're buying a Model 3, maybe you're just a solo rider and you want to spend less money and you're going to wait, right? Osborne effect. But if you unveil the Robotaxi, and on that platform, the compact is going to be built anyways, it just makes a lot more sense for you to unveil that and not have the same level of Osborne effect come through, right? So it's the exact same platform. We know this. We know that Franz has tried to convince Elon to go ahead with the compact for quite some time. Elon's been gung-ho on Robotaxi, and the only reason he's been convinced otherwise is because he said that, it can be built on the same manufacturing line. So, exactly. Thanks, Ryan. So I want to hear in the comments, okay? I want everyone to throw in one guess only, okay? One guess. If the unveil is on August the 8th, when is the first official launch of the Robotaxi? Because the unveiling is one thing, but the actual delivery of the vehicle itself or the platform itself to the public, when is that? Throw in your guess in the chat. Okay. And yes, August 8th of this year. Elon said, I know, Petri, I know it's funny, right? Because, Elon didn't specifically say this year, but he also said Year of the Dragon, which of course implies this year. Kristen says, Yash, what do you think about the opinion that Robotaxi will not be available to the public? It'll be Tesla only. Maybe to begin with, that would make sense to begin with, because if Tesla can prove, and this has always been, please vouch for me, other people watching this channel, I've always said the way that Tesla should launch Robotaxi is they should set out to do a case study with their own fleet, their own group of cars, prove out the concept, and then from there, once they prove out the concept, then they can showcase in a white paper, this is how many accidents were prevented, this is how many drunk drivers were prevented, this is how many people got home safe, and this is the way less cost to consumers, or the savings to consumers, I should say, that has happened. Q2 2025, Roland saying 2026, 2 weeks. 2025, June, so middle of 2025, 2026. How's it going, Brad? Cincinnati. March of next year, 2026. So it's interesting. I'm going through all of these. In a boring tunnel. Cindy, that's a great guess. That is 100% where it should be first. I totally agree with that. Interesting thing to keep in mind there. 2028, 2025. So, Royce, how's it going from Hawaii? Wow, you're still in Hawaii. Dude, super jealous. Hope you're having a fun time there. Must be early, though. Look, so the general consensus I'm getting from the chat, April 2025, April 2025. So the general consensus I'm getting from the chat is, even though the unveil is on the 8th of August, it seems like everyone is setting their expectations for at least middle of next year. It's kind of the median answer I'm getting. Middle of next year. I mean, I'm getting like Andreas is saying 2030, right? That's fair. So it's still not the official. It's not official on August the 8th, but if Tesla can announce, for me, these are the couple things that I would love for Tesla to announce come time for the unveil. If they're partnering with the city, that would be probably the biggest piece of news, I think. Not that they need to, right? Because Waymo, Zoox and other Robotaxi providers exist out there, so the kind of platform is there. But if they said, we're partnering with the city of Miami to launch a Robotaxi fleet for 50 cars for the next 2 months, so we can whatever it might be, maybe it's 100 cars, I don't know what it is, right? I think that would be a huge piece of news. Of course, if Tesla can talk about unit economics, that would be great for analysts and people like us to be able to put stuff into spreadsheets and spit stuff out. And then lastly, of course, timing. I was watching Herbert's stream yesterday, and sorry, Herbert, I couldn't come on. Appreciate the invite. But he was having a great convo with a great group of people. And I think one of the real exciting things, thanks for subscribing. I think one of the exciting things that happened that on that stream was the talk about the Tesla app itself, right? The ability for Tesla to turn on something in terms of your phone, and then immediately you can call a car, like this is on stage, apparently, not apparently, but on stage, imagine this happening, right? Like a Steve Jobs-esque moment. Elon stepping up, using the Tesla beta app that he has on his phone, requesting a car, actually going from point A to point B in that car, getting, going through the transaction, and then Tesla showing how much they make on their end from it. That would be huge. Lynn says, did Reuters force the announcement? See, this is where I think people are wrong. A lot of people are saying that Reuters forced Elon's hand into doing this. No, Reuters got some inside tip that they're going to be announcing their 8/8 date. And so, they put 2 and 2 together, and they said that means this is scrapped. And maybe they wouldn't have announced it today. Maybe they would have announced it for earnings. But since it leaked, maybe it got announced today. But I don't think the event itself got forced because of it, if that makes sense. Outlier, but I know, but I don't think. But I think the regulatory won't allow it to scale so quickly. Well, Andreas, here's my thinking. I don't think you need a massive amount of scale today. You need the path for scalability. We didn't get Uber and Lyft in the city of Vancouver until 2018 or something crazy, right? Like, it was nuts. We were begging for Uber and Lyft for the longest time, but the taxi cab unions were just, a piece of work up here. So yeah, Paul says, I think this thing comes off the unboxed line. Cybertruck ramp has gone smooth. I think this does too. I mean, that's the whole benefit of the modularity of this is if robotaxis aren't there yet, then they can pivot to the compact, right? So Ryan says, supervise robotaxi first until it's ready to go with no steering wheel. So Sawyer also tweeted, and I should actually go find Sawyer's tweet real quick here, because Sawyer tweeted essentially this exact piece of this exact tidbit. I'm gonna have to scroll down a little bit on his feed to find it. By the way, check out this piece of news that we got to. So much news happened in the last day, right? Tesla AI tweeted that they officially have surpassed 1 billion FSD miles driven. Sawyer adds context to this and says, it took Tesla 3.5 years to hit 1 billion miles in FSD. He predicts Tesla will hit 2 billion in the next 45 or 60 days. Elon has famously said that he thinks 6 billion miles driven on FSD is what they essentially need in terms of knowledge for this. And Sawyer adds context. A big reason for this is the free FSD trial. Roughly 500,000 people have FSD in the free trial. The number jumps to 2.2 million, including the free trial. FSD, I'll save my remarks for FSD towards the end of this stream, but I've got a lot to talk about FSD in terms of my car. But here's the thing. Here's where I'll kind of semi-disagree. I don't think necessarily it's the... all these alerts, hold on, these alerts are popping up here. Hold on. I don't think it's the fact that everyone has the trial on FSD now. I think it's the fact, because I think they could have run that in shadow mode. I think the biggest thing now is that they're getting the level of disengagement data that only people on FSD could really get you, right? Because if you run stuff on shadow mode, yeah, you can get data on video and what good drivers do potentially. But if you give that person FSD now, when I disengage and I give feedback, that's direct learning material for Tesla, right? Direct learning material for Tesla. Oh, Sorry. Will do. Okay. Alrighty. So, sorry, I was supposed to find this. And by the way, Elon also tweeted, it won't be long until Tesla exceeds 10 billion miles in FSD. I actually missed this tweet. I don't know how I did that. There's a bunch of numerology stuff about 888. I don't really pay too much mind on that. Okay, so here's the tweet that I wanted to point out from Sawyer. He says, here's my general thinking. I'm going to make sure his face is in it. Tesla's low-cost $25,000 car and the Robotaxi were always going to be based on the same platform. They were always going to be similar, but the 25,000 version was going to have a steering wheel. Maybe Elon and the team have been so impressed with how good FSD has performed, and we're maybe thinking they should be shifting even more of their resources to Robotaxi in the FSD effort. This doesn't mean the $25,000 car is canceled. Again, they share the same platform, right? So, look, this is exciting times nonetheless. I would love to hear anyone else's prediction on what happens on 8.8. I see Damon's already put it in. 8.8 only announces Robotaxi design similar to battery day in 4680 manufacturing. See how long that took, and that is taking. On 8.8, they may announce production of the Robotaxi in 2026 at the earliest. So here's my thinking. And in general, the best prediction of future is what people have done in the past, right? What someone has shown you historically is probably the best way that you can predict what they're going to do in the future. So in that respect, I do agree. But here's where I think it's different. I think Tesla sees that their product announcement unveilings are not up to snuff maybe as much as they can be. I've kind of always criticized Tesla when they unveil something. Why not use the Apple model, right? Where you announce something and you have it for delivery within the next couple of quarters, probably the next quarter. And I get it, iPhones, phone versus car, you can't really hide a bunch of this stuff. I get that. And could it be possible? Could it be possible? Again, we're kind of betting against the odds here. That Tesla announces or unveils his Robotaxi to be delivered by the end of the year, or a fleet to happen by the end of the year. I know they're not on Apple's level, and I get it, it's a car, but I mean, I think Tesla's heard the feedback loud and clear, though. And yes, someone pointed out, Elon replied to Sawyer, giving him the eyes emoji. So he says that I'll take that as confirmation. So yeah, so I mean, kind of that's where we're sitting at right now. Hold on one second. And if you guys don't follow CERN Basher, go check him out. He had a great video with Herbert a couple of weeks ago, right? And on Herbert's channel, he talks about Robotaxi, and he has a whole model with Robotaxi. In fact, he actually just tweeted out a little bit more about it right now. He's actually tweeting right now. Maybe I should invite him on the show real quick. Should I do that? Hold on one sec. I should probably do this privately. Let me see if CERN can come on, because he has a really well laid out. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if he wants to come on. I'm going to send him the link. Live stream. Right now, we're talking Tesla Robotaxi. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Love the... Okay, I sent him an invite. Let's see if he wants to pop on. Let me first of all close this Outlook. Okay, let's see. His presentation is great, very detailed. Yeah, I think he's been doing an awesome job. So he tweeted out, actually, he said, here's the second and third order effects of Robotaxi. Initially, the Robotaxi undercuts Uber and Lyft. This is easy pickings. Then the Robotaxi undercuts vehicle ownership, increasingly leading people to ditch their vehicles. The vast majority of the population can save $5,000 more per year on transportation costs. They'll do it. So at this point, I am curious to hear. So I want to ask everyone in the chat, if you could order a Robotaxi today at, let's say, half of the cost of an Uber, would you ditch your car today? Because I know there's going to be a sub-segment of people that are still not going to ditch their car because they want their car for storage or the ease of access, or, maybe they camp in it. I don't know. Throw in the chat, would you ditch your car if Robotaxis were half of the cost of an Uber today in your area? Sonic says yes. Paul says, nah, never ditch my car for long road trips. So that's it. And I guess, Paul, you do drive a lot. You do do a lot of long tail driving. Andres, note, transporting a dog. See, that's a good use case right there. We'd go from one car to two cars, though, and I guess that is CERN's point here. Exactly. 1 second. Let's see here. Okay. How about long road trips? I ditch our second family. Okay, so, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't think I would ditch the car because, again, for road trips, for that kind of not even the last minute stuff, but like if you have family, you can't all arrange stuff together. But it would cut down on a lot of driving that I would do, for sure. Okay, so next he says cheap doesn't mean you can afford it. While the cost to make a Robotaxi might only be 20 to 25,000, the value of Robotaxi is much more than that. This should lead Tesla to stop selling vehicles to people. Tesla should make the vehicles for 20,000, put them in their own fleet, and make the annual 30, 40, 50,000 or more per year. Anything that can make you 30 to 50K per year should not be sold for 25 to 30. The cost of status goes up. The people that want the status are going to have to pay a lot more. Fewer people purchase vehicles. The economics of automakers get turned upside down very quickly. Insurance rates go through the roof. This makes sense. If you're driving your own car versus you're fighting against a Robotaxi for the same level of insurance policy, I mean, you're probably going to lose in the long haul. Uninsured. And so he has a chart, and I'm going to try to find it on his. He had it on, again, go check out his interview, this one with Herbert. He does a great job really going through everything here. And this specifically is the chart here of, and he's labeled it CERN's model for Tesla, the conceived estimate of Robotaxi network. I guess that worked out. And this is the analysis of how much revenue Tesla can Tesla have with these assumptions. Tesla sells their vehicles for zero profit going forward. Tesla has, this is a bit small for you guys to read, so I'll just spell it out. Tesla has 5 million cars on the road. Tesla has, by 2035, Tesla will sell 19 million cars per year. By 2035, total vehicle fleet will be 130 million vehicles. This excludes energy, supercharging, and bots. All vehicles have a $200 monthly subscription, 60,000 miles driven per car per year. Revenue per mile driven is 30 cents. Tesla's take rate is 25%. I think he means Tesla's cut from the profit. Net margins are 35%, and the PE is 30. And so that gets you, and he's, if you look at this chart here, 2 trillion, 2028. We got obviously 9.4 trillion is the level by 2035 that he is estimating with those assumptions here. So the sales numbers, look, it depends, because if Tesla launches a two-seater, actually, hold on, here's another thing that I think might have went miss yesterday. And Elon is tweeting so much, so it's hard to keep here, I'll find it in 1 second. So people are like, okay, what kind of car, like, how would this car look like, right? Because will it be a two-seater? Will it be a four-seater? What makes sense here? And Elon replied to this tweet right here. Check this out. This is really, really interesting. Elon replied to, so this is Homar's catalog, this is Omar, and someone replied to Omar saying, make this a little bit bigger. The dedicated Robotaxi should be a super efficient two-seater. 80% of rides are a single passenger, and probably 90% are two passenger. The rest of the fleet can serve the remaining 10 or 20%. I'm also expecting a 12 to 16 passenger ride share robovan as a part of the mix. Okay, this guy's not working from Tesla. He's he's just a cool guy that's given his feedback. And Elon replies to him, and he says, "Where is Elon's tweet? Well, why is it not at the top?" He says, "Interesting analysis." Again, I think the fact that Elon is going out of his way to drop these hints is quite obvious. So to me, it's all but confirmed that the Robotaxi will be a two-seater. So that kind of leaves us thinking of what kind of design, like, what kind of, like, how would this car look? Because I have no clue, really. And I Googled, and so I Googled Tesla Robotaxi, see what sort of renderings are out there. And this is what I got. Okay. So I got this one from Shift Delete, right? Actually, hold on. Let me just make this a little bit bigger. So this one from Shift Delete. This is more of a hatchback, esque here. These are all renderings, of course. Of course, this is Franz, and with an early Robotaxi that kind of matches the style. This is Tesla Economics rendering this one. Why a two-seater? Doesn't make sense. Well, because again, Elon replied to that person and pretty much confirming that the majority of rides are one or two people. That's it, right? The majority of people are not going in groups of 4 or 5. And if they are, the Model 3 can potentially cover that. Any of these Robotaxi renderings stand out to you? I don't know. They look good. I mean, this one in particular, I actually quite like. Actually, this one I probably would say is probably my favorite. This is very old, though. This is from July 2024. Put a couple of doors on here. Put a little bit of storage in the back. You don't need much going on, really. Let's see here. So, what's this? Elon is tweeting again. Okay, let me check out what he has to say then. Let me see what Elon's tweeting about now. Elon tweets so much now, it's really hard to keep up sometimes. He's replied to Alex saying, "I strongly recommend anyone who still claims Tesla's a car manufacturer to use this weekend wisely and think about it and change your stance, because from here it gets really embarrassing." Elon replied saying, "Tesla is an AI, robotics, and sustainable energy company. Is it time for Tesla to change their stated mission?" Let me see. Is it time for Tesla to change their mission statement? Hold on, let me just see. This is dated quite old. Of course, I think we all know it, but let me just pull this up. "Our mission is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy." Is it time for them to change that with the AI? Elon talks about robotics. Is it time for them to change that mission statement? Yeah, so no family ride. No. So here's the thing. The Robotaxi car that they are, let's say, unveil on August the 8th will be that new gen car. That'll serve, let's say, the majority of cars. But the rest of the fleet, the Model 3 owners, the Model Y owners, the Model X owners, eventually the Cybertruck owners, all of these people can then get on the Tesla Robotaxi network themselves and Uber, right, quote unquote, their cars out as a Robotaxi themselves. And I think that can cover the rest of the fleet. I think that's the thinking here, right? As long as the car has a backseat, I don't care about the Robotaxi. Martin says, "Totally, the mission is dated. A bit of Microsoft computer on every desk." Interesting analogy. Tesla learned so much from making the Cybertruck that will go into Redwood, including design continuum. More notifications. Yeah, Elon's on a mission right now to tweet. So let me keep everyone informed on what's happening here. I think it's Tesla related too. Nope, it's just politics. Oh, actually, no. There's one here. I'm trying to find it. Oh, he's replied to James Dauma. Let me just refresh here. That would be an interesting one for us to read. Just got a reply here. Okay, so James Dauma quote tweeted Elon's tweet here saying it's staggeringly difficult to make generalized self-driving work, requiring all that you describe above and more. You replied to a tweet, by the way, from August of last year on this one. Anyways, he says Elon says the investment in training compute, gigantic data pipelines and the vast video storage will be well over $10 billion cumulatively this year. I mean, talk about Tesla moat, right? Anyways, he says, but that's nothing compared to the $250 billion worth in cars on the road with Tesla-designed AI interference computers being trained by their drivers. James Dauma, shout out James, quote tweets this, says, of the pieces needed to get to Robotaxi, the fleet is the most important part. No significant component will be left out because it's an enormously valuable and difficult to substitute resource. And Elon replied to that just now saying, yes, reality is far too complex and weird to solve all the data in SIM. So what basically he's saying here is because we have all of these millions of cars driving around giving us disengagement data now, as long as we have the compute to train on them, we can solve all of these edge cases really in time. Paul says auto hardware is still the core of the business, though. I just think with the AI and the licensing of FSD eventually and supercharging, I guess makes sense with the current mission statement. Maybe expand it. That's a good idea, maybe. Hey, Dukin, how's it going? Another mod in the chat. Shout out to you, Dukin. Digital, how's it going? A lot of 888 talk in the chat. 88 is a positive number. Of course, 8 is a very bullish number in Chinese culture. I'm not reading too much into that. Elon talked about it as the year of the dragon as well. And, but is that a hint? I mean, let's think about it. Is that a hint that the Robotaxi will be for China? I don't know. I mean, sales, they could use a little bit of a new, fresh strategy in China. Is that a hint that this Robotaxi will have something to do with China and the Chinese market? I don't know. Throw in the chat, yes or no. Does the 88 and the Chinese resemblance, and Sean says we have a lot of Chinese brothers here, that's why. Nice. And sisters. I don't know. I just think that if the Robotaxi is going to launch, it's going to launch in North America first. It just has to. That's where the vast majority of course, data would be, but also the vast majority of FSD disengagement data. No, not China. Why would you do China? Okay, so you guys are on the same page. Okay, so I'm going to quickly talk about my FSD, and I'll throw up the stock for a little bit here to talk about. I'll give you kind of my impression of Robotaxi and FSD and kind of what's been happening. So, as you guys know, I got 12.3.3 last weekend. I've been driving it around continuously since then. Here's my general thoughts on it so far. Amazing tech. Absolutely crazy that my car can go from an autopilot Dumbo to some sort of FSD genius with just a Wi-Fi update. So putting that aside, here's my biggest gripes with FSD 12.3.3 so far, okay? My biggest gripe is, number one, the full stops at stop signs. I just can't take it. We have a lot of stop signs in the city. If I'm in a rush, I have to disengage. I'm like, of course, I don't blow stop signs, guys, but there's certain things called California stops. Even go watch the police. Even our police fleet, our police drivers here do not fully stop. No one stops at a stop sign other than if you're maybe an L driver, right? Blame NHTSA for that. Yeah, DRK. Yeah, it's. I would, but I live in Canada, so we don't even have the NHTSA here. We have the Transportation Safety Board or whatever, right? Everyone does it. Come on. Okay. Anyways, don't let Dan O'Dowd find out, right? So that's my big gripe right now. Another one is in the last 2 or 3 days of using 12.3.3, and it didn't do this before, it starts really hesitating in intersections a little bit. I'm not sure if anyone else has 12.3.3 can vouch for this or not, but I'm sensing a lot more hesitation through certain intersections on sunny days in particular. And today's a little bit less sunny, so I think it is, but I'll test this out today. But I was noticing yesterday, as it approaches an intersection, it does kind of this like hesitation thing a little bit. Yes. Okay. So Sean says it too. It's an intersection. Yes. So I don't know if that's something to do with the cameras and the fact that the lights are blinking. And I don't know. Here's where I'm kind of dumb because I've never had FSD V12 or whatever. So I don't really know if it did some of this stuff before. We'll talk about leaps here in a second, folks. I tweeted about talking about option leaps. We're going to talk about leaps. Please remind me after this. No, version 12 drives like, and this is what I've been saying to everyone. I've been saying that version 12.3.3 is driving like a brand new driver. Someone that just got their license is driving out of the DMV to the home for the first time. They're gonna follow all the rules. They're really gonna have to say, okay. So here's my third thing that kind of triggered me. Right on right turns, it needs to be a lot more aggressive. Of course, I can tap the accelerator, but I want it to be a completely disengagement free or intervention free drive. Right? I don't want to have to tap the accelerator. It needs to be far more aggressive on right turns. Right? It needs to be far more aggressive on right turns. You got 2 blocks worth of leeway. Just go. Keep creeping. So really, those are my 3 gripes. Here's my last one. Okay. Sometimes when you're turning left, and there's literally no one around, and you're turning left at the lights, and it's ghost town. This only happens when it's ghost town outside. It will start to cut on the left turn far too early. It'll like get out of it'll like go past the median a little bit to turn left and really cut left fast. Like it'll really take the shortest path there. And though there's literally no one around, so it doesn't make a difference. You can't do that. You have to go to the intersection. You have to turn left wide on the intersection. You can't cut through like how someone would if you had to take a crap or something and you had like 2 minutes to spare to head home. Like that needs to be snuffed as well. Here's another gripe, and sorry for listing all the gripes, but I just thought I'd get this out right. Road close signs. It's fine if you go up to a road close sign, you go, whoops. Because it can't reverse, we're left in this scenario a little bit where because you can't reverse, obviously you're stuck there now, right? You can't really put you can't pull a 3-way or a 3-point turn, right? So those are my kind of 5 gripes. It's not, and then of course navigation can be a little bit better, but that'll happen over time. We don't really have enough probably training data here in Canada for it to know all the best roads and whatnot. I'll throw a bonus up on there. If I can pick specifically what side of the road, or if I'm going into an alleyway, I want to pick an alleyway as my destination, that would be great as well. Because right now I cannot pick an alleyway as my destination. Yeah, why are you getting off at alleyways? I don't know. But if I could pick an alleyway as my destination, I've been trying to do that for a while. Anyways, so that's off my chest. Those are the little things that I think it like most like all like for example, the right turn stuff. Technically it's not wrong. It can be slow. It's fine. The stop sign stuff, that's legally correct. So I guess that might not get fixed either. The left turn stuff has to get fixed. The navigation stuff, of course, will get better over time. So what I'm trying to say is I think the majority of the stuff will get better exponentially fast. Thank you, Michael. Yes, hit the like button if you're new here. How many likes were we setting at? Hold on, let me just pull up my stats here. Cool. Okay. So that's my Robotaxi experience, folks. I got a little jig coming in tomorrow from Amazon. So let me know in the comments if you think I should post actual driving footage, driving data, because I want to rig up my phone to right behind the center console so I can get the fold, and then I'll also do a second angle maybe of my face or whatever. But let me know in the comments if you think that content is worth doing. And of course, I don't think in Vancouver there's that many people doing it. So I think it might be an interesting thing. I'd be curious to see how Paul says what their Robotaxi profile will look like, selecting easier routes and stuff like that. Yes. So that's exactly it. So Paul, perfect segue for me, right? One of the big things for me was if Tesla, all they do is Tesla says, look, we know this route, this route, this route, and this route have a materially higher disengagement rate compared to this route, this route, this route, which we never have disengagements on. Can Tesla not just run restrictions on certain roads or on certain unprotected lefts or certain dangerous areas where they can spend an extra minute, go around, turn a block earlier, and they can program that all in, and they could exponentially cut down on the level of disengagements. I mean, they already have. But if you wanted to, just with navigation data, Tesla could do that. Tesla could say, you know what? There's an unprotected left here across 8 lanes. Maybe I won't do that. You know, maybe that's not safe. Just a thought. Hamilton, how's it going, my friend? I'm behind on the stream. You can roll stops out disengagement. So you can, but I can't. So when I hit the accelerator to a stop sign, and then I let go of the accelerator because I'm not going to just blow past the stop sign, it comes to a full stop for me. And maybe I'm going to have to show people this on video to explain what I'm talking about. But for me, it you know, even if I hit the accelerator, it will come to a full stop rather abruptly the minute I let through. The Tesla hesitated at intersection just a few seconds to make sure the red light runners are gone before crossing intersection. Tesla does blast through intersection once it does decide to go. You know, the actual left turns are not a problem for me, William. It's the right turns, like merging onto traffic, that I think it could be a lot faster on. A lot faster. And again, these are all nitpicky things. The majority of stuff are not safety critical. Some are, but the majority are not. And to me, that's quite impressive. And maybe I'm sounding like a spoiled brat. Everyone listening here is like, oh, you know, if you had version 11.4.9 or whatever, you would have been a complete flake about it. But man, this thing is good. I prefaced it by saying that. Yeah, Dan says the majority of my disengagements are from bad route choices. Yes. I wish there was a way that we could, and Tesla gives you 2 or 3 options, but I wish there was a better way we could, you know, for example, I go to work every day. I know the route that I need to take. I do not want to take a different route. When I put in the address, I'm getting a different route. And guess what? I can't really do anything about it. And so all that does for me is like, I know this is a 2-lane street. And I know during rush hour, it's better to be in this lane rather than this lane because there's going to be left turners here and you need to get around everyone. I might as well get around earlier. One of the other things that tells that FSD still needs to pick up here locally is the bus only lanes. They're not labeled bus only. They have a little HOV thing to confuse people. But that's another thing that it needs to figure out. So Sean, that's exactly it. So Sean says, I wish FSD would learn your route preference. Here's what I'm thinking. What if FSD, there was a training mode, an ultra personal chauffeur training mode that they could and hear me out, that they could bake into the model to train the beginning and ends of your ride. What I mean by that is the car can get you to the front of your house, but what if you know you have to go around the back to the back alley, wait for the garage, go through this gate, then that gate, and then park in your specific spot? What if you could train your car on the large language model to do that end part, because that end piece is so personal, right? You have your parking spot, you have the way that you drive through your garage. What if you could train that? You could spend a week in training mode at the end of it, hit, log train, and you could train the end of that to your car, to your liking. It could get you to your destination. And then as soon as it kicks into the area, it knows what to do because that's highly personal. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Couch, how's it going? When I hear edge cases from people in the US and Canada, I just can't stop thinking that I'll have such an easy time in Europe. I know. Well, some of those streets in Italy, just good luck, right? I mean, even think about, like, for example, India. Interesting. Elon tweeted something to do with the master plan. I'm going to pull that up right now. Is Elon listening to the stream? Because we were just talking about this. Hold on. Interesting. So Elon just tweeted this out. We were literally just talking about the master plan. Interesting. And of course, he's linking to his master plan part duh. Of course, I'll just give everyone the brief synopsis. Create a low volume car, which would which would necessarily be expensive as the Model S. Use that money to develop a medium volume car at lower price. Use that money to create an affordable high volume car and provide solar power. No kidding. This has literally been on our website for 10 years. So I think that means they're on to step 3. I mean, you could argue Model 3 is step 3, right? with the rebates, but high volume car, Model 3. Or are we calling the Robotaxi Model Q, or I guess Model Q? Elon, please give us a hint on that. Elon, if you're listening, say hello in the chat. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm live on X as well. I think I'm streaming on X. Okay, ideas for naming the Robotaxi in the chat. Throw your best guess. Throw your best option in the chat. I want to hear some predictions of what do you think, because obviously if it's an unveiling, we're gonna get a name for this thing. Everyone seems to be calling it the Model 2 or the Model Q. I think the Tesla Q, I think that's just like peak perfection if it is named that, because that would be the final blow to the head of the people looking for Tesla to go bankrupt. I actually quite like Model Q. I think it'd be the funniest inside joke in the world when this thing is selling, millions and millions a year. It would be the funniest inside joke ever. I could actually totally imagine, talking to my friend and be like, oh, why is it called the Model Q, or why is it called the Tesla Q? Oh, well, you see, there's this group of people and they love to short stocks. Model 8. Okay, that's an interesting guess, Michael. Model 8, because I guess 88, right? Agree on Tesla Q, the kit, Model Q, the Robo X, Model C, Model QT. I don't know, the Model Q. Elon, throw us a hint. Throw it in the chat. Model C for compact. Yeah, I guess that could make sense as well. That sounds very basic, though. I mean, look at Cybertruck. I mean, look, we know Tesla loves their inside joke stuff, like the sexy model, not a flame. It has to be Model Q, doesn't it? Because this would be the burial for Tesla Q. The Robotaxi will be the burial for Tesla Q. The final nail in the coffin, really. Model M for Mini. The Bumblebee, the Model G, Model 8Q, Model Z, the last model can be configurable to anything. I guess maybe they talk about the production line itself. Tinelli says the nearly infinite numbers of these specific and personal edge cases make me fearful that level 5 is multiple years away, if not a decade. I think all they have to do, Tinelli, on this is basically what Waymo does, and they have pickup points, and they have certain spots they'll pick you up in. They're not going to pick you up in a back alley or something. They're going to drop you off in the front. So I think Robotaxi can work. You just chop off the ends of that a little bit. I'm not worried about that so much, personally. Model G for Grok. Model A, so you can write sexy cars. Hold on, sexy cars. So Studio says sexy cars. So sexy, we got compact, Robo, RV, or I guess RV. What am I missing here? The minivan. There's going to be a Tesla minivan one day as well. I think we all know that. Too sexy, yes. Model Jew. And I should preface Model Juju, that is, and I like that. I'm gonna rip open a Juju right now. Here's some good Juju for the morning, everyone. It's been a while since I've ripped open a Juju on the stream. Usually, if I'm on lunch or something, I don't have a bag of oranges handy. Wherever you are this Saturday, first of all, I just want to say thanks for joining in. Hit subscribe if you're new. Let's keep talking Tesla, but remember, nothing beats a little punching bag of vitamin C to start your Saturday morning, even if you're having coffee with it. Wouldn't recommend it, but there's certain things I'll do for stream. Tesla Roadster and Semi. Oh, Roadster. Sorry. Cybertruck. No, where was my head? I completely forgot about. Okay. Cybertruck, Roadster, Semi. What about the ATV? What about the ATV? Okay, Studio. Yeah, Studio. I think you won this one. I think you won this one. That makes sense. But Elon, if you're listening, come on. Can we just call it the Model Q, the Tesla Q? It would be the funniest inside joke with Tesla investors to the rest of the world forever. It'd be a legendary move, especially when, every time any one of those people would get into a Robotaxi, they'd have to get into one of them. Okay, let's talk options a little bit, shall we? So yesterday I tweeted, I said, is it time to look at Tesla Leaps again? As you guys know, I really stopped talking about leaps and options and really partaking since really the Fed started raising interest rates, and since inflation went kind of messy, for better or for worse. And there was portions where you could 100% have made a lot of money. But I kind of stopped talking about it because I was like, I don't want to fight the Fed, really. I don't really want to manage these positions daily. Not that with Leaps you really have to. Man, I got juice all over me at this point. My napkin box is a little bit far away. Well, I might as well finish the rest of this orange then. Okay. So let's look at some Leaps. Let's look at some options. Now, if you look at the options chain right now, and if anyone's confused, I'll be happy to explain as best as I possibly can. But if you look at, so currently obviously sitting April 2024. If we look at 2026 and beyond, right? So two-ish plus years out. January 2026, an at-the-money Leap, a 160 strike is about $5,000, right? It's about $53 at the moment. Meaning your break-even price in January 2026 with one of these options, with one of these Leaps, is $53 plus 160 your strike, right? So that gets you to $213 or whatever it is. Sorry, my fat head's in the way. So your break-even on a 2026 at-the-money Leap call is $213. So the bet is, do you think Tesla will finish at or above $213 per share in January 2026? Because every dollar past that, you're profitable, and probably exponentially so. I can pull up the P&L chart later, but I don't think I can do this on Webull right now. So Kevin says 2026 December 170s. Let me check this out. So that's the furthest out possible option chain that we can find. December 2026. There's currently 986 days left to expiration. 986 days left to expiration. The 170 strikes, so $6 out of the money or whatever it is, sell for about $60, give or take, $60. So $230 a share on Tesla is your break even in about 1,000 days from today. This is why I said I wonder if it's time to start looking into Leaps again, because these break-even numbers 1,000 days from now seem kind of low, don't they? CS says, why buy Leaps when you can buy TSLL 2x leverage and Tesla at 711? Well, there's a couple of different reasons. You might get 2x leverage, but with options you can get, with options technically you're getting 100x leverage. Not always, depends on the level of delta that you have, of course, but options you can just buy more leverage with that amount of time. Also, if you have intention to exercise these options one day, or if they're deep in the money and you do want to keep them as a part of your portfolio, there's that. And obviously options allow you to do certain things like covered calls, or if I bought a deep in the money, like for example, if I bought a 120 strike and it cost me $80, I could sell poor man covered calls against it if I wanted to as well. So there's certain things that you can get there that the 2x leverage won't, because with 2x leverage it'll be 2x leverage up, 2x leverage down. With options, the inflection points are a little bit different depending on the delta. So personally, I have not that I don't think you should, but I personally have not messed with the double X leverage ETFs or anything like that. Okay, hold on. I gotta scroll. Okay. Let's see here. Anyways, some of these option chains, I'm looking at and I'm going, you can buy a 140 strike. The furthest out possible option chain for Tesla is December 2026. You can buy a 140 strike. So it's an option to buy 100 shares of Tesla at $140 a share, and you're paying about $75, aka $7,500 to own that contract. Meaning your break-even price is $75 plus 140. So $215. $215 a share is your break even at that point. There is not much upside really baked in to the long-term Leaps option chain for Tesla at the moment. It really isn't. I don't know. There's not a lot baked in here. Of course, options can go to zero. Everyone's got to be careful. It's not financial advice or anything like that. But, I'm looking at some of these options. I'm going, interesting. 1,000 days from today, how different will the macro be? How different will Tesla's Robotaxi network be? Strategy be? Volumes be? Wall Street be? Yeah, but you can trade in and out so liquid. Well, CS, you can also trade in and out of these leaps very easily too. I mean, unless you're buying really deep in the money where you only get a couple of them traded a day, the market makers will hit that bid on these pretty easily. I'm considering options after earnings call. Well, I will let you know if I consider about it earlier or not. Of course, I think a lot of bad news is already baked in Tesla. Tesla going up 4% after hours makes sense on that news. So I will keep everyone informed in terms of what I think. Paul says, "Hey, Ash, good to see you. Just got on. We'll have to rewind. Massive news. Looking forward to see how this floats. Bloody exciting." Yes, Paul. Shout out to you. Yeah, it really is insane news that we got the other day. I don't think people are appreciating how insane this news is. Jonathan says Robotaxi is still years away. In the meantime, sales are shrinking. Well, this is what Elon's betting on, is that if it continues to keep all the lines going, sell cars what you need to sell them at, even if it means 0% margin, break even, eventually the Robotaxi software as a service revenue margin will pay for everything. Thank you, we appreciate that. Yes, everyone hit subscribe. How many likes are we sitting at now? 200 and let's see. Oops, let me refresh. Okay, 257 likes. We have about 981 viewers across channels right now. Appreciate everyone tuning in on a Saturday morning. Next week will be probably and by the way, I got some messages about technicals and where Tesla sits right now. Look, I mean, Tesla needs to hold this 300 weekly. I know 300 weekly is quite the, it's quite the level to look at when you've been this downtrodden. But this 300 weekly at 159, or it was 150 earlier, that's the level that needs to hold on the weekly. Because we've tapped below the weekly very briefly, and that was the end of 2022 crash down to $100 a share. But we quickly reclaimed that. So that level has continued to be a very strong support line for Tesla. And for years, Tesla traded way above that. As you can see, S&P inclusion was here. COVID shutdown was here. Shanghai launch was here. So I have some of these stuff labeled. But this 300 weekly, even if I guess in theory, we kind of tapped down to it the other day and hopefully bounce back up past it. Tino says, what's the profit if the 2020 on the leaps if $500 per share? So it would be 500 minus your strike. So it depends on the strike that you get. So if you got a 200 strike, you'd have $300 worth of profit there, get 30K, and then minus whatever you paid for it, right? And by the way, that's at expiration, right? That's at expiration. During the time when you still have time baked into it, it would be even more than that. I think if you right-click on Thinkorswim or any one of these platforms, you can get a P&L graph on it. I don't think I can get it on Webull right now. I think I'm not signed in. Anyways, I'm not going to mess around with this right now. I should get Thinkorswim back. If you guys remember in the beginning of the channel, I would only use Thinkorswim for all my analysis, right? Because I would have the P&L baked in and I could check out different versions of P&L. All right. Well, hit subscribe if you're new. I appreciate you guys tuning in on another random Saturday. We had 1,000 viewers. There we go. On a Saturday live stream. Elon's tweeting again. Hold on. Let me just pull up this. He said, best deal in town. I'm guessing he's probably tweeting about Tesla cars at the moment. Pull this up. Oh, no, he's talking about X and advertising on X. On X, average cost per click per ad is only 38 cents, lowest compared to other platforms. Best deals in town. So Elon is obviously trying to promote running ads on X, which actually I have in the past as well. So, all right. Well, much love. Great to see everyone back in action, back in the chat, everyone back on the channel. I appreciate you guys being patient with me with tech issues or whatever it might be. More content to come. Huge news with the Robotaxi unveiling happening August the 8th. I don't even know what to say really because, again, I think it's not even being slept on. I just think the news is just so big where it's... I don't even know what to say. Like it's actually insane. This news that we're seeing. So, all right. Well, much love. I hope everyone has a wonderful, happy long week or happy weekend, not long weekend. As I always say, take care of yourselves personally first. Go for a walk. Go to the gym. Go, walk your dog. If you don't have a dog, get a dog. Go to yoga. Do whatever you need to take care of your mental and physical health first. That comes first and foremost. And then from there, do whatever you need to do to have some fun. Thanks for tuning in with me and unwinding a little bit. And I appreciate everyone's last minute ability to come on stream and chat with me. Sanjay, how's it going? Have a great weekend, everyone. Mike, Messi, Mimi, Michael, DRK. If I missed it, Stefan, how's it going? Cliff, awesome. Take care, everyone. Peace out. Yash signing out and hit subscribe on your way out. Thanks.